Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Chris coming at you with another episode to the Beautiful Struggle podcast. And for those of you that are new listeners to the podcast, this podcast is a personal development podcast and it's also a business podcast. And really, my goal for this podcast is to empower the listeners, empower the audience, empower you guys to live the life that you guys truly deserve. All right, so with that being said, if that's something that you're interested in, something that you guys want to tune into, we drop a new episode every single Monday. And if you want to go ahead and follow us on Instagram for more additional content, go ahead and follow us at Beautiful Struggle Podcast. That's at Beautiful Struggle Podcast on Instagram. Now, with all that out the way, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you guys can see that we have a guest on the podcast. And due to the coronavirus, I've been keeping the guest to a minimum. But today, I decided to bring this guest on via Zoom call. And with that being said, this guest is an Italian-born entrepreneur. He's been in business since he was 16. He's the co-founder and CEO of the Influencer Marketing Factory. He's been featured in many major publications such as Forbes, BBC, BuzzFeed, and many, many others. And we had a discussion the other day, and I know he really has an inspirational story, and I know you guys are going to get great value from this young man. With that being said, welcome Alessandro Bogliari. Did I get that
Bogliari,
right?
yes, close enough,
Bogliari.
yes.
Okay, almost. Okay.
It,
Yeah.
it's difficult, the pronunciation
Yeah.
is typical Italian. Bogliari, it's really hard to
Bogliari.
say if you're not Italian, so it's totally cool.
Okay.
And
Okay,
thank you for
cool,
having
cool,
me.
cool. No, absolutely. Thank you for giving me your time and thank you for getting on.
Sure.
Um, the first thing I want to ask is I seen that recently you just had a birthday. Happy belated
Yes.
birthday.
Thank you so
What did
much.
you do? What did you do during the quarantine? How did you spend your birthday?
Actually, that day, it was like super lucky. It was sunny outside. So, it was coming from like weeks of like rain and, terrible
Hmm.
weather. So that day was actually like, good enough. So me and my wife, we went to the park, of course,
Yeah,
masks on and everything, completely
yeah,
social distancing from the others. Small, picnic. It was so simple, so amazing, really. So again, in times like these, like doing something like that with the person that you love, it's just enough, I would say.
yeah,
So again, despite everything that is happening, I needed it something so simple to do.
yeah,
And again, it was sunny, was with the right person with me, and that was everything that I was asking, especially in a period like this. So I was like, I was really blessed that day. I was like really like was like today the weather is perfect, the day is
yeah,
perfect. Couldn't ask for a
yeah.
better way to spend it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's really good. Sometimes my wife and I will go to the park as well and, have a little picnic and it just really makes you appreciate the little things that maybe
Definitely.
we missed. For those of you that don't know, he's actually located in New York. That's why he's so energetic about the weather being good and whatnot. But yeah, with that being said, I'm really interested in your story. I'm really interested how you became an entrepreneur, and I've read that you started your first business or you got into business at 16. So, if you want, you can go ahead and start there. And yeah,
Sure, of course. Yeah. So as you said, I always been like, with this entrepreneurial mindset. So I was like, I was really like, never being like just, okay, I want to study and then, I'm gonna wait for my time to get into the normal career path. I was like, okay, I like, doing my stuff and everything, studying, etc. But I was like always looking for challenges. I wanted to become already like, a professional since I was, again, as you said, I mean, I did my first website when I was like 12 with
mm,
HTML. I was really into digital already, and at that time, there was no fancy software. So it was mostly like
mm,
Notepad on your Windows. But
yeah,
there was something in me that said, okay, the internet, this thing was like something that was so interesting to me. So what happened is that when I was like 15, 16, I started working using graphical softwares, to do graphical works. And I was really into that. And in fact, then I got my bachelor degree in graphic design and art direction in Milano. And then I was like, I was really into that. What happened is that while I was in university, I actually created my first website. it was about my city, Milano, in Italy. And it started as just a blog, let's say. And in a few months, we got 15 people on the team. And, we went like out like maybe 3 years. We really didn't get like, we didn't like, make money. Okay. But the knowledge and everything that I got, in that moment, it was just like seriously no like comparison to what was on the books. So I learned about leadership. I learned about struggling already. I learned about like having fun on work. Many things. And I was going to like, university at that moment, right? So I was doing both of them, right? At the same time. So I was learning things on books, right? That is definitely important. But then I was seeing myself and other colleagues of mine. The big gap and difference was that I was putting myself into something for real, like something practical speaking. So I was learning and doing, right, in these optimization loops. So since I started super young, I was able, and I'm still making mistakes as everyone, right, on work. But what I suggest all the time is that when you start like younger, you have more time to make mistakes and learn from them. So I did that when I was like, I was like, actually that project was like 18 and 19. Then I started doing like, freelancing, different type of work. After a while, from Milano, I moved then to Copenhagen in Denmark, in the Scandinavia, it's northern part of Europe. I learned a lot about.
There?
Sorry?
What made you move to Denmark?
A couple of reasons actually. One, it is because I wanted to explore the world. I was like living all my life in Italy. It's a beautiful place, but definitely you need something more, especially because Italy is still like, except maybe Milano, my city, that is a bit more international. The majority of the other cities in Italy are still like pretty local sometimes. Like not a lot of people speak in English. Like, also for me, like I learned, like more going like, abroad, but when you are like in Italy, you don't really speak too much English. So your knowledge also of the rest of the world sometimes is limited. And so first of all, I wanted to explore new cities, new things. And secondly, because in Scandinavia, part of that it's Denmark. The education, it is totally for free. So I got my master degree for $0, €0. That's because in Europe we have also in Italy it's pretty cheap. Okay, so in general in Europe we are used to have education for everyone, and for me that was like from Europe going to Denmark, as many other people still from Europe going there, you have the opportunity to apply for education there. I got my master's degree at the IT university in something called Digital Innovation and Management. And what happened is that you mostly have to pay for, of course, you pay for the rent to stay in an apartment where you want in the city. You pay for your own food, like as usual, but the education, it is totally for free. So you apply, if you get accepted, then you have to go there, buy books that you need, or any other stuff like that you need to study, but that's it. You don't spend €1, okay, to go to college, to the master degree. So I mostly did that because I always studied and worked together. So I wanted to have I never asked for money or things like that. So I was like, I want to have a certain good level of life in my daily routine, let's say. I love traveling. I love doing many things. I have many interests. So I was like, if I want to do that, I want to use my money in the right thing. And so again, we in Europe, we are used not to pay for education because it's something that should be it is free for everyone. So I said, let's go there. Let's learn new things. So it was actually definitely interesting experience. And then after that, I said, okay, as many Italians, as many Europeans, I had, this American dream to go to the States. So I actually got into the States thanks to a Visa 01. That is the talented visa for, people with the extraordinary ability. I applied as a growth hacker. I was helping, companies in growing their digital businesses online. So I collected all my information. There are a lot of documents to go through. And that was already a big struggle to do, because if you are not from the States, it's difficult to understand what does it mean to get in the country in a legit way, and also stay there and be having the feeling that you really want to go there. So there is tons of work to do, and I did it. So then I moved to Miami for a while, and then to New York. So always studying and working together, doing that. And after my master's degree that I got in Copenhagen, I said, okay, I studied enough. I was already working since I was 16 in different industries and different from graphical works to marketing. And then after a while, I say, okay, what I love the most it is marketing. Let's do it. And then many things happen, but the last one is to create the influencer marketing factory, the co-founder now, and it is really what I wanted to do. So it was a long story, but now finally I got it there.
No, that's pretty amazing. That's powerful. And you said a couple things that really piqued my interest. Like, at a young age, you were already developing leadership skills. You were already using practical knowledge and developing practical skills. A lot of people that are just going to school, sometimes we can apply that knowledge and sometimes we can't, but you were really in the field, applying that knowledge and developing those skills. What I wanted to ask you, where did this hunger to be an entrepreneur come from? Were your parents entrepreneurs, or was it just something always in you?
Yeah,
where did
good
you
question.
see it from?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, my parents are entrepreneurs, but they they did for many years. They when they were younger, they were managers of companies. So always being good careers. After a while, they decided to go and start their own company. And so I would say that I was lucky to understand what does it mean to work and to struggle and to really put a lot of effort in what you do. So I was lucky enough to always talk with my parents about what does it mean to run a business. And that helped me a lot in understanding that if you are not an entrepreneur, it's difficult to understand the struggle of a daily life of an entrepreneur. Because if you're an employee, you get at the end of the the 2 weeks or a month or whatever, you get your salary. That's it. You don't really care about anything else, right? So I always was really interested in saying there are two ways to live your life. One, it is the career path. You really just go there. You have your stability in life, your sort of comfort zone. And there is another way. There is no comfort zone. It's really dangerous. It's really struggling and everything. But if you make it, first of all, usually you love what you are doing in that moment, so it's already a big thing. And secondly, you really are in power of your life. So of course it's more dangerous in a way because it's a difficult path to go for. But if you can do it, then you can manage yourself, your personal finances. You can have more in your life. I'm not just talking about physical things. I love traveling. So doing that, I am more I have more freedom sometimes to manage my own life. So yes, luckily enough, I have my parents as an example. But even if it wasn't maybe for that, I always wanted to be someone creating things and not be under others. Just doing my daily routine and daily tasks. I always wanted to explore more. And so yes, but I would say that also a good part of that comes definitely from family.
Nice. Yeah. So I wanted to ask, besides the huge struggle and the huge obstacle of having to come into the United States, what are some of the other early struggles that you maybe had in business or, on your way to where you're at right now? Because I know getting into the States alone is a struggle that an obstacle a lot of people don't even want to face, but you overcame that and you started your own business.
Yeah, definitely. Good question. So I would say that something that not a lot of maybe entrepreneurs say is that what you see a lot of times, unfortunately, online, on social media, it is this expectation of a successful life without having to struggle. So first of all, it's about the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. It's totally common. Everyone have those days, right? Where you think that everything is not going in that direction that you would like to. It's totally normal. The thing is that there is a sort of taboo of talking about the struggle of entrepreneurs. That's because more and more like let's think about like Instagram. You go there, and when you look for entrepreneur, okay, or things like that, you see the same stuff all the time. Lamborghini, and like a yacht, like all these amazing stuff. Maybe those people, maybe they really own that,
Yeah.
Lamborghini, but not a lot of people really like tells the story what's behind that achievement. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people only talk about like the perfect life and the achievements and success like that they got, but the thing is that not a lot of people talk about what was like the first days of your business, or even weeks and months, for some people years of their business. What does it mean to manage the cash flow? That is a big like deal when it comes to entrepreneurs, because again, you have no security, no comfort zone, right? And so I would say that in general, like for me, as many entrepreneurs, it is to one, really believe in what you're doing. Okay, it can be like something obvious to say, but a lot of the times you see other people that are having an easier life for sure. Because if you are like an employee in a company, it's definitely easier than being an entrepreneur. So all the time you really like ask yourself, did I make the right move? Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like all the time asking yourself, like, it's difficult, it takes a lot of energy. Did I make the right move? And a lot of people, especially at the beginning of their like journey, because it's a journey, like being an entrepreneur. And it's not a journey where you start like this and then it goes like that. A journey, it's like ups and down continuously. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I love my job, okay, and in the next day, it's like I made too many mistakes, like I don't want to do this anymore. It's like ups and downs all the time.
Yeah.
And likely I would say that I'm talking also sometimes with some entrepreneurs, other friends of mine that owns companies or agencies, and likely more and more mental health in entrepreneurship is something that is getting like under the spotlight. And I'm so happy about it, because again, it's almost a taboo to say I'm struggling. You always have to be the
Mm-hmm.
alpha man
Mm-hmm.
saying, oh, this is perfect, like, oh, I'm killing it. No way that you're killing it from day one. It's
Mm-hmm.
impossible. It's impossible. Even if you're super lucky in your life, in your business life, is going to be that day that is a dark day for you. There is going to be that week that you think that is like, okay, this is not working. So again, even if you think that you got like the biggest achievement of your like, business life, the day after something could happen. It is not to be negative, it is to be realistic in life. You have to be your
Mm-hmm.
expectation and understanding that if you're okay with them, that's okay. But if you think that it's going to be super easy from day one, and like something that also notice that a lot of like people that want to become entrepreneurs, every week they change their focus, they change their goals, and what happens is that
Mm-hmm.
if you jump from here and there, you like as soon as you get like the first struggle, then you move and you change. What is happening is that you're not fixing the problem, you're just moving and shifting it from like one problem to the other. So I would say that like as many entrepreneurs I would say the same problem and struggles that all other
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs have. They're like, again, mental health, stress on you, managing the people, managing your work life balance, definitely not easy. So like there are like a lot of things. And again, no matter the industry, no matter the place you are, I would say that uh, more or less every entrepreneur has the same type of issues. And I'm just like really, it's a pity, it's a shame that
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of people talk about it, but you always have to have this facade that it says, oh, my life is amazing, I never had problems in my life, because that is not the reality of being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. That was well said. And you're right. You go on Instagram and you see these entrepreneurs and they got Lamborghinis and they're on
Yeah,
yachts and all that. Whether they own them or not, that's up to them. But
yeah,
it's it's like it's painting a fake picture for those that want to be an entrepreneur, want to have freedom in their life. They're thinking like, oh my gosh, this is what it is. But a lot of times it's not. So I wanted to ask you, for those people that are inspiring entrepreneurs, what are some suggestions that you would give them that would help them prepare for their journey on the road? Maybe you're speaking to a 16-year-old, a version of yourself, or a 21-year-old version of yourself. What would you suggest for them to prepare for what's coming ahead? And I know entrepreneurship in life, it's like as you know, it's like marriage. It's hard to prepare for. You can prepare all you want, but you're never gonna know until you're in those situations. But what are some things that you would suggest to those people?
I would say do it. like I know this is again something that could be like sounds obvious, but I saw two different type of people that want to be entrepreneurs. Okay, one is people that all the time they talk about the newest course they are like following and watching to become like entrepreneurs. They are
Mm-hmm.
reading tons of stuff. They are sharing stuff, but they are like investing all this time in reading with the idea that they want to be entrepreneurs more than
Yeah.
doing. What I always did, like since again I was really young, I always did stuff. What I mean is
Mm.
that um, don't overthink. Like my mantra, like and my way to live my life is like sometimes do not overthink it. Like if you want to try a new e-commerce, if you want to open up a restaurant, maybe a restaurant, you need a lot of like cash at the
Mm.
beginning, but let's say something where you don't need like cash, okay? You need like just a small amount. Again, it could be a Shopify, could be anything online, okay? So I'm talking mostly digital marketing, digital business because it is what I know, okay? In that case, it's like if you overthink it, you're gonna, let's say, waste months of your
Mm.
life in saying, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? If you do it, what could happen? One, you could make like mistakes and you're gonna learn from them. And two, what happens is that if you start succeeding, good for you. So what I say all the time is that you can definitely like I read a lot, online every day. I have to be in the loop on what is
Mm.
happening, right? For example, then maybe we can jump into that. But like I'm a big fan of TikTok. Our agency
Mm.
has been one of the pioneers of TikTok influencer marketing more than like almost 2 years ago. So my role in the company is also to keep like updated on everything that is happening. And you know what? Like when we started it, we just did it. Like it was like not like months of brainstorming. Let's do the. But I don't know. Maybe it was like
Mm.
let's do it. So if you, especially if you are young, you are in that like that age where if you make a mistake, that's okay. Like you don't
Yeah.
have a family on you, you don't have expenses. A lot of times maybe you're like still with your parents. Like use that moment, I would say,
Mm.
to make mistakes in business because
Mm.
something it is to start doing stuff already at that age. If you make a mistakes, maybe what could happen? Okay, you failed and you're gonna try again. Something else it is that if you're making the same mistakes when you're like maybe in your 40s, and you have
Mm.
a family, then yes, that is more problematic. But my biggest, like, sort of like the biggest advice that I could just say it is do it. Then if it works well, if it is not working, just it's part of that. But at least you can learn. And again, it could sound like I know obvious, but some people are just like all the time finding excuses to start. You just have
Mm.
to start, do it, and then of course it's gonna be scary for many reasons.
Yeah.
But if you don't even start, like so that's it's like do it. I know it sounds like
Mm.
a slogan of a famous
Yeah.
brand, but that's it. Just do
Yeah.
it. That is my way
Yeah.
to do this.
No, absolutely, and we'll definitely get into your agency and TikTok and all that in really briefly. But I do agree with you. When I go through mistakes, and I guess people say losses in my life, I don't see it as that. I always say I try to teach my people, hey, I see it as a lesson. It's just a lesson learned. These mistakes that we go through, you mess up, it's okay. It's just a lesson learned. So, what about the people that are currently entrepreneurs? What would you recommend to them to improve on their mental health? Would you recommend like talking to more people? Like what would you recommend to these people that are currently entrepreneurs and that maybe they're seeing some type of success, but their mental health isn't stable right now, so to say?
This is a great question. Again, I'm really like interested in mental health for like especially entrepreneurs and especially agency owners because
Mm-hmm.
I read many studies about how the agency environment it is more like stressful than other industries. Like if you're
Mm-hmm.
working in a company, it's still stressful, but when you're like an agency, you're like on a call all the time. Like
Yeah.
clients needs you, and you're paid mostly to solve their problems. Of course you're paid to give them results, but a big part is to like be with them. If there is a problem, it's on you. You are the agents, right? So what I would say is that first of all, uh, talk with other entrepreneurs. Why I'm saying that? Because unfortunately, and I don't want to sound like maybe just in that all entrepreneurs can understand each other's, but part of that is true. Like if you talk with someone that never did one day as an entrepreneur, it's difficult to understand the daily struggle of things that, again, if you're not an entrepreneur, you don't really know. Bureaucracy, cash flow management, time management, people management, leadership, legal stuff, because also that could happen. Marketing, brands, like, your own brand. There are like so many things that go on. So personally, when I have like, maybe some doubts about something, I sometimes call maybe some friends of mine that also owns agencies or companies, and we're like, have you ever had like, this type of issues? And we can, talk about it. If I try to talk the same with someone that is not an entrepreneur, I might receive usually more like a sort of like a generic answer, like, oh, it's gonna be fine, don't worry about it. What I mean it is that in the moment, I don't need just someone that, pat on my shoulder and says it's gonna be fine. I need practical solution, and I need to talk with someone that, went in that already. So that for sure. And then I would say that it's not easy, definitely, to during the day to find some time for yourself. A lot of people say about like, meditate, these type of things. I'm still trying to understand what does it mean meditate. I'm gonna be like, sincere. A lot of people say, yes, I meditate 30 minutes a day. I'm still trying to understand what does it mean, because it's really something really private, like it's something that you want to understand about yourself, about your life. There are like a lot of really important questions in the moment when you meditate. So for me, it's not really like meditate, but it's to sometimes do a sort of like, helicopter view, where I try to see myself, the people that are like around me, the company, and trying to see sometimes like what is really important in life. When you can shift the values, then you understand it, right? So personally for me, for example, it's a really good combination between what I want to like grow in terms of business, but also, what does it mean having, like a person with you in your life, and, like your family, friends, that type of things there. So there are some people that only care about work, and that's okay with that. Other people, they don't care about work. And also, like, it's really, if you're happy with what you're looking for in your life, that's the most important thing. So again, if sometimes you think that it is too much, it's not necessarily that you have to go into 100%. If you feel that sometimes it's just too much to handle, that's okay. Not everyone has to be an entrepreneur. That's also okay. Like some people want to force themselves to be someone that they are not, and that's also okay. So just be sincere to yourself, and like if you feel that you're happy, and you're okay to struggle sometimes, because that's normal. That's okay. If not, I would just say, like it's not mandatory, to be like an entrepreneur just because it was your dream,
Right.
But if you really want it, go 200% into it, So that's just just a few like advice that I could say. And again, there are like tons of like of them, but talking with someone that could be maybe your mentor or another entrepreneur helps a lot, because they might already been in your situation years before, months before, and they are the right person to tell you, okay, this is how I manage that. And maybe it's not the same way you can go, but at least, you have a benchmark, you have a comparison with someone else that at least understands you.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's crazy that you brought that up, because I was just going to ask you, do you have a mentor for yourself? Do you have someone that you speak to that maybe guides you in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, I would say with my co-founder, definitely, we talk a lot. I have also a couple of people that, I talk maybe on a weekly basis. And sometimes just like, sometimes it's also good not to talk about work. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's also good to just like focus a little bit on your daily like tasks, and also talk about like maybe other type of achievements that you got. That is also important, because if not, what I noticed is that a lot of people, unfortunately, they focus so much, they want it so bad that they fail because they don't see all the other piece of the puzzle. Instead, sometimes, like if you talk with maybe a friend that is also an entrepreneur, sometimes you can also just talk about what is happening in their life. I'm not just doing chit chat with them, but try to understand that, work is definitely important, but you can see from different angles. So again, and also, like, of course, many people have, like, I am lucky to also talk with my, family. Again, we Italians, we are really big on family, and that I would say also important, because no matter what, how it is your daily life, if you have people that love you and you love them on a daily basis, that gives you really a lot, because you can say, okay, I can do it. I can do this. Like I have people that they believe in me, and like can create whatever I want. So also talking with the others and not being afraid sometimes to say, how do you feel? I would say this is really important, because at the end of the day, we are human beings. We are not machines. And it is normal to have feelings in your business. That is part of it. We are not machines. And if you think about it, this is what I say all the time. Companies are people, are made by people. That's it. Like even the biggest company on earth is run by a human being. That's it. So inside that person, there are feelings, there are like emotions, there are ups and downs. And so the smallest entrepreneurs on this earth and the biggest one, they have the same human beings, like, feelings. Some people maybe handle in different way, but at the end of the day, that's it. It's big part of that, so you can't really remove that part from your business. It is part of the business, so that's normal.
Right. No, that's really good. That's well said. I was wondering, do you think that entrepreneurship is inside of everybody? You think everybody has the ability to become an entrepreneur, or do you think that it's simply just not for everybody?
I mean, maybe this answer. Okay, it's a tough one. If you want me to be sincere, my answer is no. I don't think that everyone can be an entrepreneur. I know that like a lot of people say yes, because it's more. I don't know, like maybe it's more sort of like emotional type of answer, like yes, you can do it. I don't believe so. It's really hard. You really like have to fight every day sometimes, for it. So, and unfortunately,
you
again,
almost got to be crazy to do this.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely, man. I really believe in it. Like if you are saying 100%, okay, you don't want to go in that direction, because again, it's so unstable as a position in terms of finance, in terms of mental health, in terms of work-life balance, that if you are not a bit crazy, like it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like if you look at it and you see everything that is happening in your entrepreneur's life, you think about it, it's like, okay, this doesn't make sense. This is not linear, it's completely messy. So again, I don't think that it's for everyone, because it is really it's really hard. It's really difficult. It's also really if you love it, then it's perfect, right? But again, I think that a lot of people, unfortunately, they think that they want to become entrepreneurs. So only because they want it, they can do it. But that's not the reality of things. And I'm a really practical guy when it comes to this type of things. So not just because you want something, you can do it. You really have to do it again, So something is thinking to become an entrepreneur, and something else, it is being an entrepreneur and doing those things really hard that you have to do. So, and also in terms of mindset, you have to get there. I met many people that they wanted to become entrepreneurs, but they didn't want to do the hard things that is actually, I think, 95% of an entrepreneur. So it's oh, I might not have a salary this month, and a lot of people, just because of that, they're like, I can't do this. Or maybe other people are like, oh, I would love to be an entrepreneur, but they don't know what does it mean, on the daily routine and daily tasks. So maybe after a week, after 2 weeks, or whatever, they say, okay, you know what, I'm going to look for another job. So again, I don't think that is for everyone, as it is for any other things. Like I even if I'd love to become a professional soccer player, but I'm not good enough, what's the answer for that? Can everyone become a professional? No, because you are in an environment that it is competitive, and only the people that really want to do it. And I'm not talking about the best people. I'm talking about the people that really put everything in it. Okay,
the people that really want it.
That's it. So again, the easiest and most romantic type of answer could be yes, everyone can do it. But if you want to be me, it's 100% sincere, it's gonna be no, not everyone, because it's not for everyone. That's the reality of things. It's really hard. It's really hard as type of they life that yes, it's just not for everyone. It's easy to say, not so easy to do.
That's really good. Let's talk a little bit more about the influencer marketing. factory. Tell us more about that. When did you start it up, and when you teamed up with your the co-owner, what was the reason why you wanted to do this?
So yes, I mean, the Influence Marketing Factory is now almost like 2 years old, so it's pretty new.
Cool.
But I was into the influence marketing arena from already like some years. I was already into
Mm-hmm.
social media from a lot of time. So, and I was of course into digital marketing from 10 plus years, as I said before. So I like when I was in Copenhagen, I was also working with other people there in the influencer marketing environment and industry. So I was like, this is interesting. This is like at that time there was already like a lot of like a lot of things happening, especially on Instagram at the time, and also of course on YouTube. And what happened is that long story short, during that period there was also Vine. I was in love with it. I was like, I thought that was one of the most brilliant app, not because of only of the format, but because of the type of content. I am,
Were you
yeah.
not to cut you off? Were you on Vine creating, or were you just observing
I
and
was
just
just
like
observing. I was
got you?
just a watcher and a viewer, but I thought it was like brilliant because I am really into memes, into pop culture references. So
Mm-hmm.
I found something that was really really funny. So long story short, what happened is that I got into influencer marketing. I was really interested in how you can have authenticity in the message and how you can actually shift the media budget from cold banners to actually
Mm-hmm.
having like ambassador or advocates or influencers to talk about a product, a service, or anything like that. So what happened is that I was like really interested in that, and before I was like let's say starting it on a different perspective, but after a while I was like, okay, I am into digital marketing. I'm already helping companies in like making more money or growing online. I said, why not also looking into like influencer marketing, not as platforms but as agency, and helping
Mm-hmm.
these brands. So we started when I was in Miami with Instagram and YouTube as main channels, as many other agencies. We were not different from many others. But what happened is that again, when I checked almost 2 years ago now, TikTok was really different at the time. Okay, like it
Mm-hmm.
was a really weird place to be. Like it was really
Yeah.
like
I was gonna say, from what I remember in the beginning, it was just like a bunch of young kids doing
yeah.
dances on there.
Yeah, it was. You know what? It was not even just dances. Because that part was like musically, and it was like musically
Gotcha.
was mostly like young girls doing lip syncing,
Mm.
and I remember when I downloaded it like years ago. I remember still I spent maybe 10 seconds on it, and I completely uninstalled it because it was like, okay, this is not the place for me. Like this
Yeah,
is too weird. Okay,
it's
so what I
weird.
did is
Yeah.
it was weird. But then what happened is that I started watching these TikTok compilations on YouTube, right? Like a couple of
Mm-hmm.
years ago. And what happened is that because again, like I am a really meme lover, so like I watched tons of compilations because they help me. One, they are funny, and two,
Mm-hmm.
they like help me to understand what are the trends, what is happening in the society, in the online community. So I watched them, and I was like, okay, this is weird, but this is new. This is something
Mm-hmm.
that I remember Vine, and it was like the format is similar, the length
Mm-hmm.
of the videos are similar, everything is
Similar.
vertical. So what I said to myself is like, okay, we should invest into this. So I remember that like we started doing our like landing pages on the website about TikTok, and our first client was, if I remember correctly, Sony Music, and we helped them to launch a song. Again, this was like 1 year and a half ago, when like now it is common to do hashtag challenges and dance challenges. At the
Mm-hmm.
time, it was something pretty new. So we did it, and then after that, I think that we got Universal Music, and after that,
Mm-hmm.
Warner Music Group, and then that is for the music. So the biggest three music labels plus all the others under their umbrella. But then, of course, we've also got many other clients, in different industries from different countries. We help toys, like toys for kids type of like products, apps.
Mm-hmm.
We work with a lot of apps, especially like in the dating space, but also when it, like there was during the quarantine, of course, like workout from home type of apps, apps to learn new languages, things like that, And then we also and we're working with like in the fashion industry, in the makeup. So we really like cover everything. And again, we started really investing in TikTok before the others. In fact, now if you look, like for TikTok agency, we're one of the first there on Google. We have been mentioned, as you said before, on many big publication. I personally write also for Forbes, being in the Forbes Agency Council. So, and all this is not to brag, just to say that again, if I started, from Italy by myself with seriously no connections here, if you really put every day your work into that, you can do that. So again, like for example, we never got all the things that you see online. We never paid for paid inclusion in this publication. It's all organic.
Organic.
Yeah. All organic. We never paid for that because we give value and valuable information to journalists. So they're happy to quote us. And that's how we did it. So when it comes to TikTok, the majority of the times you see my name or our agency name into those articles because we really know what does it mean. And again, a lot of people now, they're using TikTok as a sort of buzzword because everyone is talking about it. We really know what does it mean. Our campaign managers spent a lot of time on it, So all the time there is something, maybe like, a new feature or something new, we are like super prepared on that. And so journalists, they ask us, and that helps a lot in terms of brand awareness of our agency, lead generation, because then we get, companies that contact us. We have, we have clients as Google, as Snapchat, as, many other big names. And again, these in just 2 years, and again, it's the right type of industry that is growing. But again, it can't just be that. You have to really work every day, go faster than the others. And something else I would say, again, to other entrepreneurs, it is that, like, try to, at the beginning, you're going to have different hats on your head. That is normal. Like, don't feel like scared that you have to do many things, because at the beginning, you're going to be the CEO, the CMO, the CTO, the website, like at the beginning. After you start delegating. So now we have people all around the world. We have people in Europe. We have people, of course, here in the States. And who knows, maybe, in the next time we're going to open up to new markets. But at the beginning, when you open up, you have to do many things. And that is totally normal. I talk with other entrepreneurs at the beginning. They are the ones writing the email as a support. They are doing like phone calls. You are the person, because first of all, you don't have the money to invest in other people. And two, there is no one better than you, that you are the founder, to understand your own business. No one else will do the hours of work that you can put in your own business. Think about it. If you if you don't care enough because it's not your business, you will never do the extra mile. If it is your own business, you are gonna sometimes, you have to wake up at 4 a.m. Yes, it's part of the game. You won't see friends for a while. You won't do crazy parties or things like that. Because again, if you want to put yourself into that, you have to put, 100%. So yeah, I lost a bit, track on that, what I was saying, but
that's good. That's good.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask, for the people that are not in the digital marketing space and they want to understand your agency, how would you break it down to them for them to make sense? You don't have to give away all your secret sauce, but just like, what is the process of what it looks like and how? Because, a lot of people that listen, they don't really entirely understand this whole digital marketing space yet. This whole TikTok and everything that's going on and how you can make money off of it. So go ahead and you can briefly explain that.
Yeah, sure. So like really in a nutshell, what we do, we are an influencer marketing agency, right? So what does it mean? It is that we help brands and companies in getting in front of Gen Z and millennials, to make it like super easy. How we do it? It is that we use influencers to like promote through an authentic message and an active type of advertising, a message that could be download my app, go to my restaurant, or like, go to this restaurant, buy this new pair of shoes. But how we do it, instead of like, do something that is called hard selling. So instead of going there and say, hey, buy this product, showing it, that is really inauthentic. What we do is that we embed the product, the service, the app, whatever it is, in a video that is funny, that is entertaining, that is informative. In that way, and that's, that is not me saying that. There are like tons of studies that says that millennials and Gen Z, they are, and I'm part of that. I'm a millennial myself, so I know what does it mean to be banner blind, right? So we don't click anymore on banners, right? You don't want anymore to click on it. So no matter what your industry, what it is, younger generation, they don't click anymore on cold banners. That's because that is so old. So influencer marketing try to have another type of storytelling. It's like, you believe in me because I'm an influencer. I can influence you. You think that I am an authority in my industry. Okay. So you believe in what I suggest, in what I advise to do. And that's why it works well, because an influencer, it is someone that the example is like, you could have a drink with that person. It's not a celebrity, celebrities are having these really far away, amazing life. But like a lot of influencers, they are living in their room as you doing gaming, for example. That is really a peer-to-peer connection that before influencer marketing was not really even thinkable, right? So what we do is that we say, okay, we have a brand with a certain goals in mind. They want to sell more, they want to have more signups on the platform, whatever. We identify the best influencer for them based on demographics, based on conversions, based on many things. We do all the storytelling. We help them, in creating all the creativities and everything. We manage all the product, all the process, and all the projects. We track everything. Tracking everything in influencer marketing is crucial. A lot of agencies, they still don't do it. We track everything from A to Z. So we can also analyze the return on investment of influencer marketing. That sometimes it's not that easy to analyze. And then we give results to our clients. The majority of them, they're really happy with the type of companies that we deliver, so that they give us extra budget, and we every month work on a different campaign. So again, this is definitely not to promote or anything, just to explain usually how an agency works, and this in our case specifically how an influencer marketing agency works, and even more specifically how someone like us that really is niche on specialized on TikTok works. So again, they have a need, in a nutshell, like this, need. We help them, with all the creativities, everything we deliver, and they can even actually track the budgets, how was spent it, the type of results and the outcomes. So yes, I would say that this is the easiest way, to tell it to also people not into this type of industry.
No, that's really good. So we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon here. I did have a couple more questions. One of them is, I want to know, obviously you're specifically doing business on the TikTok platform, but I want to know, I just want to know your thoughts. Do you think everybody should be on it? Is this I know this is looking like the new move. I'm trying to figure out for myself as a content creator how I can start putting my content on TikTok as well. But what are some more of your thoughts about TikTok?
I would say that it's this is a question that I got asked many times. Is it for everyone? No, it is not. What I say all the time is that not because there is a new social media in town, you have to be on it. No way. And this is against my own, interest, because I would say, yes, let's jump everyone. We're going to give you, organize a campaign. It's not for everyone, because TikTok is, even if it seems like, an app for kids, it's not like that. It's an app that is difficult to understand, in my opinion. It's really multi-layered. It is you have to understand, sometimes memes, sometimes you have to know about movies, so it's a complex app. It's about the community. It's about remixing videos of other people, remixing songs that becomes a remix of a video. It's a complex app. So first of all, if you are let's say a boomer or whatever, and you don't really you think it is a kid app, and you want just to go there and mock the people, or you think that it's something just for kids, don't go there, because it's not the place for you. I'm not just saying about age. I saw so-called boomers, but also grandpas and grandmas of families, like, doing amazing funny videos. So it's not an age matter. If you want to make fun of yourself, sometimes it's like you can be 85, it's still good. What I mean is that TikTok is not for everyone, because if you're let's say that if your company has a certain type of like legacy and brand values that are not really to be on an app that is mostly to clear your mind and make a laugh, why would you go there? Like, your brand values are more important than just try to go on the latest social media. And that could be a sort of like, social media fail, because you try to be young, but with the right, maybe with the wrong type of like tone of voice, right? So what happens is actually it is the like counter, like effective type of like outcomes that you were looking for, right? You try to play it younger than what your brand is, and actually you can get only like, not really good feedback about it. And so I would say that it's not for everyone. You have to understand what it is. You have to study it. You have to spend a lot of time before even creating content. And only that, if you really believe in it, then you can go. And just let me add one small thing. Like, it's not just for people that do dances and lip syncing. I also saw people doing SEO tips, e-commerce, drop shipping. So there is also a niche for example, like entrepreneurs and people giving business advices. Of course, it's smaller compared to many other, like, people doing dances. But there is opportunity for everyone. You just have to understand what is the type of language, right, that there is on the app, the type of medium that TikTok is, and don't feel pressure and forced to be in it. If you think that your brand is not for TikTok, that's okay. You don't have to be there just because everyone is there. Because if you don't do the right work, you can actually have a terrible feedback from users. And you spend money and time for getting worse results than before. So
yeah, no, I definitely agree. TikTok is a very complex platform, but I think it's definitely evolving to where a lot more people can use it. If you look back at what Instagram was, it was just a photo sharing app, and that was pretty much it. And now look where it's at now. But yeah, TikTok is very interesting. It's funny because I went over to my grandma's house like 2 weeks ago, and she's showing me stuff on her phone. I see that she has a TikTok app downloaded on there, so it's like a lot of people are using it, So no, that's really good. I appreciate that advice. So what's one thing, just to wrap this all up?
Yeah.
One thing I have my guests do for the audience and for your audience as well is just to leave one last piece of advice for everybody. I know this whole podcast, you've just been dropping gems and really good information. But if there's one more thing we can end the podcast on, and you can give to the people, what would that thing be? And it can be literally anything. It can be business related, life, TikTok related, or whatever you want it to be.
Again, I would just say that, it's just to combine the little things that I said before. Do the jump, because jumping into it, you have to do it. You cannot be still thinking, maybe this is not for me. Jump, do it. Don't be afraid to do the mistakes. Learn from them. Talk with others during your journey. Talk with others already been there. Don't be afraid of be yourself. When you are into this journey, the majority of the times, talk with the others. Look in the mirror. Ask every day, does it make sense for me? Am I happy? And just continue. And again, it's your choice. Every day when you're an entrepreneur, it's still your choice. If you want to be an entrepreneur, it's not anyone else's choice. It is your choice. So do it, optimize, do it until you're happy with that type of life. And again, it's up and downs, but it's a unique way to live your life. It's really hard sometimes, but I would say that it's amazing, So my final message is just really do it, get into it 100%. And you're going to get also, when you get an achievement as an entrepreneur, I think that emotion is as nothing else in the world, So it's just something that if you really want and believe in it, do it, put yourself in it and jump.
Boom. I love it. For the people that are interested, did you want to leave any handles, Instagram handles, social media handles, websites? You can go ahead and just let them know now. Afterwards, I will put all your information in the description below for people to reach you. But did you want to have the people follow you anywhere or check out your website?
I mean, yeah. If they want to know more about me and what I do, there is, like my Alexeidos. It's difficult to pronunciate, but you can put it there. Maybe it's easier,
Yeah, I'll
for
put it
people.
down. Yeah.
Alexeidos is not that easy to say, but then of course, on the influencermarketingfactory.com, people they can see what we do, the case studies and everything. That is of course more the corporate side of what we do. On my Instagram, it's not really about work. It's more about other type of interest that I have, because I also again think it's important to show behind an entrepreneur there is still a person that lives the life as many other people, and it's also cool to show that again the life of an entrepreneur is not only work; it's everything that you have in your life, and also it happens to be a big part of your life to be business. But so that's what I share. But I would say, yeah, that is my part. And of course, influencemarketingfactory.com if you want to see anything that we do as an agency.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you jumping on this Zoom call.
Of
And
course.
with that being said, it's your boy Chris, and I'll catch you guys next week.